Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Brad McCoy Show, a review of Charles Henderson High School football. And Coach, a long drive to Bay Minette, Alabama, but your team played well.
Yeah, we played good for most of the night, and had some costly turnovers at the end of the game. But it was a good trip down. Kids handled that just fine. Played a hard-fought ball game. Just came up short there at the end of it. 20-14.
20-14. And of course, they're a 6A school, a big 6A school down in Mobile, and they play that tough bracket down there. Tell us how the scoring went, Coach.
Well, we kind of went back and forth early on. They jumped out and took a 7-0 lead, but later in the first half, we were able to move the ball down very nicely. We got in our heavy set that we hadn't used too often this year, but Tyrell Jones punched it in. Off tackle to tie it up 7-7 all, and that's where we went into halftime tied, and then we came back out. Actually took the lead in the third quarter off running. Jonathan Carter ran a power play, blocked up nicely up front, took it in from about 15 yards out, and held that lead. Actually got an interception on the ensuing drive, but then got a questionable call on a late hit on the quarterback. Nullified the interception. We'd have had the ball on the 10-yard line going in. And then from there, just kind of the bottom fell out. We had a unsightly. We caught the snap. Quarterback drops it on the ground. They recovered. They're able to end up taking the lead. I think on their next drive, they missed the extra point, so they go up 20-14. We drive the ball back down with a little under 2 minutes left, get the ball on the 20-yard line going in, and we throw an interception in the end zone. So we had several opportunities. The boys put together a lot of nice plays, nice drives. And we our football team matched up well with that bunch down there, and and really should have won the ball game. Had every opportunity to.
Well, don't you feel like this might be good going into the playoffs to play that well?
Well, it does. I mean, it gives you confidence. You have to battle the morale factor. When you don't get it done late in the ball game, and you're playing this week a Faith Academy bunch that's 10-0.
Yeah.
Have put together by far their best football season since they've had football, I guess, at that school. But they put together a great year, got a good coaching staff. Jack French, which is a guy that was at Baker High School for years, actually came out of retirement.
A baseball school, Baker at one time wasn't it?
Yeah, we played them a few years when we were at Prattville. I remember going down to Baker and playing them. And he's been there. This is his second year. Really good football coach. They got a good staff. Got good players, just like what you expect from a private school in the Mobile area. And it's going to be a challenge. We got to get back on that bus and drive about 40 more minutes further than where we were.
Where are they located down there, Coach?
Right off of Ziegler Road, which is, right there close to McGill-Tulane.
Yeah, well, see, all those three are right there together. You got McGill-Tulane, you got the
UMS Wright,
UMS Wright, and then you got St. Paul.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
right
St. Paul right there, yeah.
And so they're all pretty close, aren't they?
Yeah, it's right off. We're not going to make the mistake of going down Airport Boulevard like, when we played St. Paul's a few years ago in the first round. That's a struggle to get your buses down and where you're supposed to be. And so Coach gave us a little bit better route. We're going to take Saraland and kind of go around the back way in the face, so it should be an easier drive.
You're in the playoffs for the last 4 years in a row, is that right?
6 seasons in a row.
Six seasons in a row, that's not bad, Coach. That's what everybody plays for.
Well, that's right. There's half the schools in Alabama that aren't getting to play football right now, and we're excited about that. The guys have put together.
When somebody looks at your schedule, Coach, for the year, they're going to, excuse my language when I say they're going to think you're crazy.
Well, I think I might have been, to be honest.
First of all, you opened the season with a big win at Pike County. They hadn't been beat since. Then you played Enterprise at home and played them well. And then, of course, they have turned the corner. They're doing very well.
They're in the playoffs this year.
Rehoboth, you beat them, shut them out, and I saw that game at the stadium. And now they're on
a 2 seed,
8-2 and 9-2, yeah, 2 seed, and this is the best year they've ever had. Oxford, one of the top teams in the state, bar none. They're 6A, but one of the top teams in the state. I think they lost one game.
Yep.
Beauregard, who 2 or 3 years ago was one of the top teams in the state. Then you had an open date. Then you lost homecoming to Greenville, a game that you could very easily have won. Then you traveled to Ozark and beat them soundly. Then you entertained Tallahassee and just shut them out. I saw that game. They could have been out there all night long and not scored.
Right.
So you beat them solid. Then you went to Valley and you played into the fourth quarter ahead at one time in the fourth quarter and lost to a very good team. Did you feel like?
Oh, well, two of the best running backs that we'll see all year.
Yeah. And then you travel 200 miles or more to Baldwin County High School of Bay Minette, and you lose a tough one, 20-14.
Well, and that's, again, I think the people that follow us, they understand that we have had a very challenging schedule for the last 2 years. Our kids, I think they've gotten better through all that adversity and playing tough opponents. But it's supposed to get you ready for the playoffs. We've been fortunate that we've been in the playoffs every year. And we've got another big challenge, playing a top-notch 1 seed in Faith.
Well, I'll just say this. For years and years, Charles Henderson was drawing as their number one, as their opponent in the playoffs, a team from Mobile.
Yep.
By far, probably the best area to play football in the state of Alabama. I know Birmingham can argue that, but when you got to play Viger or Blunt, or St. Paul, UPS, or St. Paul, Viger, Blunt, or St. Paul, and then you went up against Baldwin County. You're playing a very good brand of football against some good opponents over the years, and I think this is a much better Charles Henderson team than the record indicates.
Well, and I would agree with you. I think you take the 3 games against, bigger opponents, and you play schools that are either your size or less, and sometimes, those 3 losses may be 3 wins. Who knows? But our guys, they understand that it comes down to making plays, eliminating mistakes, blocking and tackling, and and of course that's where we put all our focus, and we spend a lot of time with them. They're around us a lot. So
we've got some footage. Is that right? We got some footage on this game. All right, we'll go to that footage. Of course, our show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. Appreciate Jason, Gregory, and all the great folks. And beautiful facility, Coach.
Yeah, they've put a lot of money into that stadium, and
it's just good football in that area. Everybody's good there. You might have broke that one, didn't you?
We did. We've gotten better in our kickoff return unit. We actually had a busted route right here, but Javen Hill, which is a very consistent receiver for us all year. So our defense, has been, I think, just very, very solid all season long. And look, we played without 2 starters Friday night. We didn't have Zeke Caldwell.
Now you're in white, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't have J.B. Sanders, which.
Yeah, J.B. Sanders did not play?
He did. Neither one of them. Zeke or, starting Rover and starting inside linebacker didn't play. They both got
have them back this week?
We'll have them back. Thank goodness.
Boy, and of course, and you recover that ball. They didn't give it to you or what?
No, they didn't. They called it a forward pass.
Good game tackling.
Jalen Woods, I tell you, Jalen Woods stood out. He had his best football game of the entire season, and he's our starting left tackle.
Is he a junior too?
He is.
Boy, oh boy.
And he's starting.
Good pressure there.
Yeah, Malcolm Hall did a great job playing that screen.
Coach, your front defensively is about as impressive as any team I can ever remember.
And they're all coming back. Here's Sean McKinney, senior receiver. got an offer from Sanford, you know.
Great,
Look at this
Coach.
ball right here. Boom.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, nice throw and catch.
Who could get a? If he got an offer yet, he's
Alcorn State shown him.
Yeah.
There's Tyrell jumping in right there in the end. Very nice job.
You're up in this game now, aren't you?
At this point, no, we're tied. We're going to halftime tied, but we got poor field position right here, and we don't do a good job of getting it out. We end up punting it, but we give them good field position, and you know they played the power read, which is a run, you know, off the power play where you read the play side end, and they had a little bit of success, but our defense was all over the place and caused a fumble right there.
You're playing that
right here. Here's
two of your better players.
Yeah, we were.
That was your your go-ahead touchdown.
Yeah, we're going ahead 14-7 right here, and you know, just really felt like we had the game in hand, and they end up throwing an interception, like I told you before, that they didn't give us, you know, and that hurt. Yeah, I felt like if we would have went up 20-7, you know, we would have. I think momentum might have really played in our favor, and
your kicking game has gotten better and better, Coach.
Well, our punt team has been consistent all year. Bradley Caldwell's done an excellent job. Our protection's been solid. Coverage has been good, and this is the play right here. You know, something hadn't happened all year long. You know, ball hits him in that. We battled a couple of high snaps at times, but nothing that wasn't. Great catch by Javen right there.
Oh, Puka gets rid of it quick, doesn't he?
Yeah, and we end up. There's the interception. He's trying to throw it out of bounds and just hangs it up, and you know, something that shouldn't have happened.
Good game tackling. I thought your secondary played well pretty much all year too.
They have. They've been solid, and this was the.
Oh, that was
right here
the thing that broke your back right there.
Yeah, right there. You know, just.
Was that the go-ahead touchdown?
Yeah, they're up right now. We're moving the ball right here, and actually the nail in the coffin was this one right here. Mm-hmm. You know, he gets pressure in his face, and he hangs it up.
Who did your footage on this, Coach? Did we do it, or I thought y'all did a good job on the footage? Good highlights.
Yeah, that was no, that was y'all. Yeah,
Coach, 20-14 loss. But you had to feel good about the way your team played.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, other than the mistakes,
turn it over a couple times. That's what happened.
That's right. You cannot turn the ball over. You can't miss tackles, and you know, and things like that. And turnovers is what got us. That's what got us against Greenville, and it ended up costing us this ball game too.
Back to what we were talking about this front, and I'm talking about big, fine kids. And I was in the office, your office over at the school the other day, and this big old guy walked in. Who was that guy?
Caleb Geis, probably.
Oh, God, he was huge.
Yeah.
And he's back, too, isn't he?
Well, the whole front, Caleb and Jalen and, you know.
And we're talking about close to 300 pounds per guy. Is that right?
Yeah, Darius Northcutt. You know,
Northcutt is
we've
back.
got Jaquavius Rusall's a young freshman that's coming back.
Sam Knott's coming back, or is he a senior?
He's a senior, yeah.
Uh-huh. You don't want to lose his daddy now.
I know, Nathan. He's
Boy,
gold.
what a great guy! What a great guy!
Sure is.
And of course, Adam Brooks is another big guy coming back on offense. Starks is coming back. Is that right?
No, Starks is a senior.
He's a senior.
Yeah.
And Pennington, does he come back? Dominique?
He's a young guy. Yeah, he hadn't played this year.
But your front on both sides of the ball is about as impressive as I've seen at Charles Henderson.
I think they probably would go down as one of the best.
I mean, we're talking about four guys are going to probably sign to play college.
That's right. I believe they can.
Of course, we got a big one coming up this weekend. Of course, the tough thing about making a 4-team playoff, Coach, the team down in you have the first number 1 team plays the 4.
That's right.
And we call it the number 1 team.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's so important. You know, we went 4-2 in the region, but you know, the Valley game, you go from playing for the 1 seed to getting the 4 seed.
Yeah. Now, even though it's a 1 and a 4, you did what every team starts out to do every year, and that is to make the playoffs. And you made the playoffs the last 6 years. Coach, that's something I don't know if we've ever had a coach to do that in consecutive years.
Well, it's, you know, in our program it's expected, and you know we've been battling getting over that hump of getting that 1 or 2 seed and playing at home like we did our first year.
You know, I was looking at it a little closer. Of course, you know I always have plenty of material.
Yeah, you do.
But I try to keep up with high school football. And I was looking at some of the teams that made the tournament. Of course, like you said, the home team, the home field advantage is always big.
Well, when you got to get on the bus and you got to ride in 3 hours, and it can certainly take it out.
I hate to laugh about that, ladies and gentlemen, but I mean, gosh, it is a long ways to go back down there.
Yeah.
You just got back, and then you turn around. Are y'all going to charter, or are you going to go on your
We'll use our own buses. Yeah.
And of course, this is something that you have to do, you know, if you're going to be in the playoffs. And I was taking a look here at 5A. You know, and you know, it's impressive. Now, this is a statewide publication. Charles Henderson at Faith from Mobile. You got the front billing. You know, your game's the front billing here.
Yeah.
And of course, looking at some other teams. The team he played last year, Ramsey is back in it against Demopolis. Viger is at Valley now. Turn around now. Viger of Pritchard has to go all the way to Valley College.
Right, yeah, Viger is.
That's a 5-hour drive almost.
It's a long way.
Man. And I hate to make it funny, it sound funny, but gosh, these kids going to leave at 10 o'clock in the morning and leave.
Yeah, we're going to leave about noon.
And go by the barbecue place down there, the Dreamland, and y'all eat in there. And send the superintendent the bill.
I bet he'd love that.
He loved that. Jackson, and I'm throwing these out. Now, Jackson's got a good program. They're off a little bit, 5-5, but they'll be real good. But they go up against Rehoboth, 8-2. And, Coach, I watched Rehoboth, and they were not a good offensive team when y'all played them.
No, but
y'all shut them completely down and beat them 6-0.
Well, listen now, they were winning. They won the majority of their ball games with 6 and 12 points.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, and what do? You got to play great defense.
What I'm saying, they're a defensive team that will.
Yeah, they played great defense.
Like we said, it's the best team they've had in a long time. Now, you know, we're not the only ones traveling. Greenville goes to Citronelle, and even though Greenville's on that side of the state, it's still a pretty long drive down to Citronelle. That's on. In the swamplands. And
I've been back there before. That is well off the beaten path.
It really is. It really is. And then, of course, Greenville 6-4. And I want to take another look at some teams that Central of Clay is 8-2 is another one. But this playoff system, they do a great job. And I know you got a lot of buddies out there. Of course, Pike County is the #1 seed in class. In class.
Region 2, class 3.
They're #3 seed. You know, they play T.R. Miller. That's not an easy. Anytime you play T.R. Miller, that's not an easy draw, is it?
No, well, Pike County's the 1 seed.
They're 10-0.
T.R. Miller's the 4 seed.
Yeah, that's right. And Flomaton, where is Flomaton coming from, Coach?
Down in you're just talking about
I know, but what I'm saying, they won last year, didn't they? I think.
Well, I know Mobile Christian, I believe, finished 2 in that region, and Flomaton was the 1.
Yeah, I was looking at Pike Road up the road here. First time ever playing in a full schedule, and they went 10-0.
Well, they'll find themselves in 5A ball probably after this reclassification.
Do you know the coach up there?
I don't know him.
But he's off to, and then my good buddy Kenny Keith, it went 9-1 at Providence. This is 3A football. But did you know Kenny?
Yes.
Kenny played here at Charles Henderson, a good guy and so forth. But I just wanted to, and then of course in 2A, a lot of your old buddies at Goshen, he pulled off half his kids against Brantley, and of course they lost. But what a gesture of wanting to do the right thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And of course, Coach Snyder really had done a super job at Goshen, and we'll be watching him closely. And Arrington, the same way. They lost the first 2 and won the last 8.
Yep.
They played Chickasaw at Arrington. And Chickasaw will probably be tough. Zion Chapel, you want to congratulate your buddy down there.
Yeah, did a great
He went
job.
6-4 this year, and of course one of them was a forfeit game he was able to get against. Wasn't that sad about Highland Home?
Yeah.
You know, to have such a great year,
Yeah.
and a team that might could have gone all the way.
I know.
And have to
You hate
forfeit
that
all
for the
those games.
kids.
You really do. And you know, the coach is an old buddy of mine, and I know he did not do anything intentionally.
No.
And you know, Daddy's a big wig with the Department of Education. He even made sure of that, you know. But again, our congratulations to these guys. Dale County 4-6 at UMS, right? That's a pretty tough one. And Luger's at Trinity. They're always pretty tough. Just looking at some of these games down the road. Coach, of course, the regular season's over with. You finished 4-5. But you, of course, you didn't count the Pike County game. Hey, I'd be counting the Pike County game whether they like it or not, because it was a real game. But again, you feel like you can stay with this bunch?
I do. I mean, you know, we've matched up. You know, really other than Oxford and Enterprise, you know, we match up. I think well with them. Yeah. You know, it just again discipline. We use this word a lot, but there's a lot of truth in it. You know, you can't have the late hits, you know, out of bounds. You can't have the late hits on the
Coach, I know you've talked about this over and over and over, but it is a case that y'all probably been penalized as much as anybody. Sometimes I think officials get all carried away sometimes. You know, sometimes it's a hard hit. You know, they make it out to be an illegal hit. Well, you know, the game of football is a hard hit. What do you do? Tell the guy to walk up and pat and puff them?
You see it at every level. I mean, you see it at the college level and the pros. And it's just trickled down. Yeah. You know, and that, you know, I normally don't question officials. I mean, you know, they've got a tough job.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it. You know, but it's them bang plays like that, especially that turns over an interception. You know, those are plays that they end up costing football teams.
Sure.
You know, wins
no
and
question
losses.
about it. No question about it. Now, up front, and that's where it all starts, y'all have been pretty strong against the run up front. Is that right?
All year.
You know, and so your front, and against a good team, if you're strong up front, you got a shot.
You do have a shot. You know, again, we got to nullify penalties. We got to
and your secondary is not bad either. They played pretty good, hasn't it?
They played really good. Our whole defense has played good all season. You know, and you know we've got to figure out a way and find a way to score more points.
All right, the school is located on this side of Mobile, or is it in Mobile proper, across the bridge?
Across the bridge.
You mean we got to go across the bridge? You know, a lot of folks don't like to go across that bridge or go underneath that tunnel.
Right. Yeah, we got to go all the way into it.
You got to go underneath the tunnel, or you cut off.
I don't know if we got to go all the way into the tunnel.
You won't. You'll get off it right there at the interstate there off of.
Well, like I said, yeah, we're gonna take that exit 13 at Saraland, and that may end up forcing us not to have to take any of that.
Yeah. Where are you going to have your pregame meal?
Well, there's a restaurant that Coach Jeff Kelly at Saraland gave us some information on that's right off that exit.
Good.
And it's actually one of the board members down at Saraland owns it. It's a barbecue place, but we'll do a meet and three and get off the bus and sit down and eat.
And talking about a good team, Jeff Kelly's got a good team.
Ooh, don't he?
Undefeated, I want to say. At Saraland, really one of the better teams ever. I don't know exactly how well they've done, but again, you'll leave here what time? We're
going to leave about noon. We left at 12:40. To go to Bay Minette and arrive down there right at the 3:30 mark, which was right on schedule because the stadium wasn't but about 5 minutes from that restaurant. And then we're going to leave about noon.
Does your offense go in one bus and defense in the other? Is that how y'all do it?
Yeah, that's normally how we
do it. You got different coaches.
We got the offensive coaches on the offense, D on the D, and split them up. And,
well, Coach, congratulations. You're in the playoffs.
I appreciate
Coach,
it,
there's a lot of schools out there not in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you, Mike. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're fortunate. We're excited about it.
Well, I tell you what, we appreciate you being on our show. You've shown all kinds of class and dignity, and you're an outstanding man that goes well with the players. And, of course, I tell you right now, I'd want my player to play for a man like you.
Thank you.
I know the kind of character that you have and that you care about your players, and you want them to be the best they can be.
Yep.
Hope you've enjoyed the coverage tonight. Go Trojans!
some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Goshen High School Coaches Show. I'm Roy Stroud, along with Keith Snyder, Coach Bart Snyder. Tonight we'll be talking about the end of the season. The regular season's over, but it was a disappointing loss against the Brantley Bulldogs to end the season.
It was, and you know, there's a lot that plays to that. First of all, of course, you know, Coach Jones and his staff done a really good job with Brantley. They're a very good ball team, got some great athletes in key spots, but most importantly, they got an extremely good offensive line, and they do a real good job there. But you know, we back it up a little bit. You know, things that went on the week before. I really takes a toll took a toll on our guys, and we kind of played real timid to make sure that we didn't make some mistakes. And you know, and I understand that with our guys, but you know, I hope that we got past that and can move on. But again, you know, a lot of it had to do with the fact that Brantley is a very good ball team.
Well, we wind up 7-3 on the year and 5-2 in the region, so it's been a great year. You know, it's just that the last two games didn't pan out the way we wanted them to.
Right, and I know another thing that plays to that. In each of those two games that we lost there at the end, we had more turnovers than we've ever had.
Right.
And you know, to win ball games or be in ball games to win, you've got to eliminate turnovers. And you know, just miscommunication on some things. You know, you never want a turnover, but you know, that's things that we worked on this week, and hopefully we have eliminated those things.
Well, Brantley came into the game well prepared, as they usually do, and it showed as they scored early with 9-12 left in the first quarter on a 7-yard run, a pass completion rather, from Kilcrease. And Kilcrease is an excellent quarterback.
He is a great quarterback. He's got a 10th grader. He's got a lot of potential.
And his pass was complete to Burnett for 7 yards and a touchdown. And then with 2:15 left in the first quarter, same thing, almost identical as it was an 8-yard game for a touchdown, and the Bulldogs were up on top by the score of 14-0 as their kicker was perfect on the night. And then in the second quarter, Brian Galloway threw an interception that was intercepted by number 2 for Brantley, and he returned it all the way to the touchdown, making the score 21-0 after the PAT. And then finally in the third quarter, before Goshen got on the board, Brian Galloway hit Raquan Martin, number 2, from the 36-yard line on an 81-yard touchdown pass and Nico Tempelis kicked the extra point. That made the score 28-6. But Brantley came right back with 4:20 in the third quarter, and number 35 ran the ball in for a 5-yard touchdown run. PAT tempo once again was good, making the score 35-6. And then once again, Brian Galloway ran the ball in for a 5-yard touchdown run and carried the ball in for a 2-point conversion to make the score 35-14 in favor of Brantley. And then Brantley scored one more touchdown in the third quarter as Kilcrease hit number 10 once again. I think he hit 4 on the night, making the score 41-14. And then with 5 minutes left in the ball game, number 35, their big running back, scored on a 1-yard gain, making the final score 47-14. All right, Coach Snyder, how about some commercials?
All right. Goshen Farmers Co-op, located near the Goshen High School. Their phone number is 484-3441. They carry feed, seed, and fertilizer for all your home, farm, and yard needs. They also have a tire shop located on their premises to take care of your automotive needs. We have the Half Shell Oyster Bar and Grill, located at Southland Village Shopping Center in Troy. Their phone number is 566-1254. The Half Shell has been one of the local favorites in Troy since 1992 with a fun, laid-back atmosphere. On Wednesday night, they have live music starting around 6:30. Also, we have Monarchus Restaurant, which is located on Highway 231 in Troy. They also have a second location in Luverne. Their phone number is 808-9424. They're open daily for lunch and supper. Come on out after the show and join us for a great meal at Monarchus.
Okay, while he was reading the commercials, I couldn't help but notice Mr. and Ms. Wilson, and you got to talk a little bit about them because they got an award or a plaque for being one of our favorite fans.
And that is great, you know, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I was sitting here thinking, watching them pop up there, and I was thinking, you know, we definitely need to make sure that we mention the Wilsons. And, you know, it really is amazing that in this last 11 years, and actually longer, that they've been attending Goshen ball games. I think that they actually lived in the Goshen area for a little while, didn't they, before moving back down to Baldwin County.
Right.
And but they make that trip every Friday night just about to come watch our kids play, and it is a great honor to have somebody to pick up and to become a part of our family the way those two have. And you can hear them on Friday nights. I don't, Stephanie and others, go get them or
Eat 'em up,
Eagles. Yes, I mean, and it's great to know that they're there, and they're such wonderful people, and we're very blessed as a community to have people like that to come in, and our kids love them. They think the world of them.
And of course, Goshen's got a lot of supporters that are faithful and have been around a long time, and I'm sure a lot of schools do, but we just seem to have a great following anywhere
we do, and you know, and I have to, you know, make mention, you got right down the road from us, you got Zion Chapel. I saw Coach Bryant Saturday, and they're in the playoffs, and they're all excited about that, and what an accomplishment that he has done right there with that group to get them there. And you know, everywhere you go, they have a huge following. Brantley has a huge following. You know, Elba, Luverne. We all have that, and that's, to me, what makes high school ball so special is that, you know, in a 4-year time, in a collegiate level, people move on, but when it comes to these high school football games that make your community, these high schools make the communities, and to get the support that we have out at Goshen. And I always say it's a little bit different because we're just not one community or city of Goshen that's there. It's many communities that make up that school at Goshen, and I take some kids home in northwest Pike County every evening, and they get on the bus at 5:18 in the morning, and it's quite a ride and adventure for them to do the things that they do, and to have the support that we have from our community, and like we said with the Wilsons, is great.
And not to mention summer workouts. It's not easy for those kids
to
get there.
It's an obstacle. It really is, but you know, we make it work with what we got, and you know, and that's a great lead into one of the things I sit here thinking. You know, my job, or our job as coaches at the high school level, it just X's and O's in football, or basketball, or baseball, or volleyball, like Coach Ward does, and softball, the cheerleading. Our job are children, and our job is taking and molding those young ladies and men into hopefully being productive citizens. And it's easy sometimes to sit on the outside and say, you know, I wouldn't put up with that, I'd get rid of that, I'd move on. And yeah, on our end, it'd be a lot easier sometimes to do some of those things. But the truth of the matter is, we love these kids, and we want to find every which way we can to help and work to make them successful and productive one day, because they deserve that chance. And sometimes we just don't know. Coach Gailey, in a class that I took one time, says that you never know what that kid is getting off that bus, what he or she has just faced, and you don't know what they go home to. And so it's our job to love these kids and to see them through these tough times, and make sure that we're there for them. And it's more than X's and O's.
And that showed up the other night when Coach Booth came up, and all of his former players, or a bunch of his former players, showed up, and you know, it just goes to show you that they don't forget. I mean, it's.
Well, I think, Daddy, you went to a funeral over the weekend of a former football coach, right? And
Max Griffin, and he was a former player at Troy. Well, it was Troy State then, but Max Griffin, his wife Linda passed away.
And you said there was a lot of people there.
Well, there were several people there from the Goshen area, yes. It was Goshen Connection.
Yeah. But his former players and people like that. That just shows you that coaching is more than just, you know, the X's and O's and the wins and losses. You win more when you work with these young people and make a difference in their life.
That's right. Okay, we'll get back to Brantley in just a minute for some stats, Keith.
All right, first of all, I want to say, Royce, I'm not going to take exception to you saying old fans of Goshen.
I'm guilty too. I'm guilty too.
Yeah, you guilty too, but you know, we also got the road boys that does all the cooking. You know, we give them a hard time, but
Yeah,
I tell you, they're very appreciative. We are of what they do for the Goshen football team on Friday nights, and helps out in that cooking. All right, we'll get to the stats for this past Friday night for the Goshen Eagles. Rushing, we were led by Brian Galloway, had 15 carries for 99 yards and 1 touchdown. DeMarcus Shipman had 7 carries for 42 yards. Jordan Sampson had 3 carries for 6 yards. And we had a total in the game for 25 carries, 147 yards, and 1 touchdown. In the passing department, Brian Galloway attempted 15, completed 9 for 141 yards, 1 touchdown. But Brian had 4 interceptions Friday night, which is very uncharacteristic for him. In the receiving department, Raquan Martin had 5 catches for 115 yards and 1 touchdown. Tamarcus Shipman had 2 catches for 11 yards. D. Maddox had 1 catch for 11 yards, and Trey Dix had 2 for 4. On the defensive side, Mikael Avery had 4 tackles and 2 assists. Caleb Gamble had 4 tackles. Blake Sape had 3 tackles and 3 assists. Cameron Baker had 3 tackles. And Dustin McFarland had 3 tackles. Jeff Warwick had 2 tackles and 2 assists and a sack. And Raquan Martin had a sack.
Okay, well, if David's ready, we'll go into the highlights. The Goshen Eagles and the Brantley Bulldogs.
You can see where Brantley come out. This is some of the stuff that we've not seen them do before, all this shifting and stuff. I'm very proud of what Coach Mike and his staff has done. And they had a second and 1 right there off a big play, and a good series right here defensively for us. Real good play right here by Trey Dix along with Jordan Sampson and all. And the only thing that ended up is we ended up having a muff punt that come up hurting. And there's a good run by Brian, good effort when you got all those white jerseys chasing you. That's real good. Good catch right here, good focus by Tamarcus Shipman for a good pickup. Good defensive stand right there by our guys. Good throw and catch right there. Raquan with one of his 5 catches. Brian with a good run, good blocking by our offense there. Catch by a good focus right there by D. Maddox. Been trying to get him more involved in the play. Big first down right there. And even though the score doesn't show it, there was times that we showed the potential of doing things, but we just misexecuted or had something to go wrong for us. A lot of that has to do with how well Coach Brantley is and stuff, but had an opportunity to score a touchdown and ended up throwing an interception, and then had them pinned deep on like the 1.5 yard line and let them get I think he ended up scoring on that series. Good throw and catch right here. Across the middle there to, I think that was Raquan, I really couldn't tell. Good play right here by Jeff Ward. Our Eagles hustling over there to be in with it. It shows you how strong the Brantley players are. Had an opportunity to make this play earlier, and you got to finish it, and can't assume somebody's going to go down, but that's the Gilcrease kid. He's a good athlete, good player. Tackled there. I know Mikael Avery's in it, and I couldn't tell who else. You see Caleb Gamble, he hurt himself during the ball game, but he never come out, and he continued to fight and play. See him in here, he's in on, makes that tackle right there along with another host, Blake Bennett. Beautiful throw and catch right here, and shows Raquan's ability. You just see him pull away from the guy. Here we like to, I mean, just so close, and the effort's coming as you saw right there. Once they saw it go by, if we'd have come down the field that whole way, and Jordan Sampson, he hustles like crazy on every kickoff, every play that he's in. Almost a good run right here. Was a good run, just like to have broke it there with Deshaun Brown. Good run right there, good tightrope by Brian Galloway, picks up a first down. Another good run by him. Got Caleb Gamble leading out there, blocking for him right there. I think unfortunately we got a holding call on that particular play and got called back. Good run right there by Brian, gets us down, and here we should have put more points on the board, but we were unfortunate. I think this is the 2-point conversion. Or maybe that was a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
That's more like how we think we can play defense. We've just been a little real timid of playing like we're capable of playing. But you can look at that Brantley offensive line. There's some big old boys.
They are.
And they're very well coached. They come off, they stay low.
Gilcrease had a all night. He was wide. He wasn't pressured.
He's to Marcus Shipman beginning to run like he did earlier in the year. He's been a little bummed up, but I think he's closer to being 100% now, so we expect some good things out of him. Dropping the football is nothing good about that, but he did recover it, so we still has to make up for it, and he did that earlier this
Final
week.
score, Brantley 47, the Goshen Eagles 14. So the regular season comes to an end with a
New year starts next week.
new
year.
season
This
starts.
week.
You can throw out all the records and everything.
Got some more sponsors, Keith.
All right, we'll have Preston's Restaurant. They have 2 locations in Troy on Highway 231 South and in Luverne on Main Street. Their phone numbers are 770-0675 and 335-2400. Preston Restaurant has a fun sports theme where they serve delicious steaks, burgers, chicken, salad, and many more items. Also, we have Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram located on Highway 231 North here in Troy, and their phone number is 403-4811. Browse their new and used inventory on their website at premiertroy.com. They house a full collection of quality vehicles and are here to guide you through the process of purchasing your next ride. Also, we have Southern Animal Hospital and Pet Resort. Let Dr. Steve Barron take care of your pet's needs. They're located on Highway 231 South between Troy and Brunions. Their phone number is 770-1838. Service for your pets include well and comprehensive exam, surgical procedures, ultrasound, x-ray, dental hygiene, medicine, prescription diets, and individual suite boarding facilities. Also, we have Tire Brokers, which is located on Highway 231 North, and their phone number is 770-2715. Tire Broker staff strives to offer great customer service with a smile, as well as outstanding auto repair services. Not only do they sell tires, but they also offer auto repair services as well as truck accessories. Visit their website at tirebrokers.com. We have the Pig Cafe located here in Troy, Southern Food Restaurant located next to the Piggly Wiggly on North 3 Knot Street. Their phone number is 770-0134. They open daily for breakfast and lunch. Stop by and get your meat and 2 vegetable plates and say hello to Yanni and Denise Tempelis. Also, we have the Troy Cable, which does a lot for not only for Goshen but the other teams in the surrounding area, and we're certainly appreciative of what Troy Cable does for all of us.
Okay, as we said, the regular season has ended, and we now will start a new season, the playoffs, and we get to host the first round against the Thorsby High School Rebels. What
Yes,
do you know
sir.
about them, Coach?
Coach Davis does a great job with them. They're a very physical ball team. They're a very athletic ball team and a very well coached ball team. So we definitely have our hands full, but the good thing about it is we're at home. We don't have to travel, and that's always a plus whenever you're able to do that. And we're excited about it. They got some big boys. They got a defensive lineman that probably weighs 350. He's a big kid. He can move. He does real good. He's in on every play. We definitely have our hands full with them, but I believe that our guys have stepped up and put the last 2 weeks and the end of that season behind us and moving forward and ready to start this new season. And as several of them, the seniors, challenged the rest of them, let's go play like we did against Ayrton. And we feel like if we play like we did against Ayrton in game 1, we can play and beat anybody.
Coach Snyder, can I intervene a little bit? I'm
Yeah.
Mike Amos, and everybody pretty much knows who I am. And I'm going to tell you this. You showed me, as a coach and as a man, as much class through this last week as any coach I've ever been around. Coach, you and your staff to go through what you went through, and and then had these players that were ineligible to play. And I've been watching you at home on this show. I hadn't heard you say a word about we didn't have this guy, we didn't have this guy. I haven't heard you say a word about it. it's a great show of class and dignity.
Well, we appreciate that, Mr. Mike, and that's the way we've been brought up. That's the way we are taught in our community and the families that we have, and our kids understand that and know, and they accept responsibility for the things that we did. That's not Goshen. That's not what Goshen does, and they understand that. And but we appreciate that very much, and the support that you have given us, and that compliment right there. We greatly
Coach,
appreciate it.
No question about it. The people that know the inners and the outers of what went on, your show of class was, not compared to anything. I've been around a long time. 2A football down in here in this part of the country is about as strong as you're going to get.
Yes, sir.
And the great thing about all this, it starts a new season. Of course, you got Thorsby, a team from Chilton County. They grew up on eating peaches.
That's right.
It's going to be tough. But while you're sitting here, if you don't mind, you got Daleville with that great running back.
Yes, sir.
At Leroy, but bless his heart. I mean, wouldn't you hate to be that guy going into Leroy?
I'll tell you.
And all Leroy's been talking about all week, or they might have had it off last week, but said, we're going to get this guy. This guy's not going to beat us.
Well, he's very good. White's a real good running back, extremely good. Probably
Boy, so we're
now.
talking about a guy that has broken national records this
I've been
year.
reading about it.
But I can tell you that we played against the running back they're fixing to go against. The kid at running back at Leroy is good.
Yeah, I bet.
We met him as a freshman, and I can
was
tell
that
you.
the same guy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I can tell you that as our kid said, one of our linebackers said, "Coach, that ain't your average ninth grader." And this kid is, they mix it up a lot, and I think Devil relies mainly on that kid there to do probably about 90% of the offense.
And then, of course, Chickasaw at Arrington, and I know you're good friends with the folks at Arrington, and y'all
yes,
grew
sir.
up together.
Yes, sir.
And Arrington loses their first two and win the last 8, man. They forgot about those first 2.
Well, that's what you got to do when you go into this season, like us going into Thorsby right here. We'd had those 2 losses there at the end of the season. We either can dwell on those and allow that to become who we are, or either we can as Coach Quincy tells us, put the ball down, move on to the next play. We move on to the next season here and play like we're capable of playing, and we'll get the opportunity to play some of those very good teams, as you mentioned, in Leroy.
Playing host to Chickasaw, and they come out of Mobile area. But also New Brockton, see, all these local teams still in the playoffs. New Brockton at Lafayette, Zion Chapel, congratulations.
That's exactly right.
And they got in with a 6-4 record, but they got to play real down.
Yes, sir.
And real down and loaded. But I just want to throw out a few more real quick. JU Blackshear 8-2 playing Abbeville. That's going to be a good game. And then you got Fayetteville at Luverne. You got GW Long at Cottage Hill. Got to go all the way to Mobile. Man, that's what's rough there. And but it's amazing how many local teams that y'all know very well are in the playoffs.
Yes, sir. You leave Luverne, Brantley, all of those schools, and we're excited about being in it, and we're excited about hosting, and we invite everybody that's in the area that doesn't have a game around to come to. Hey, we invite you to come out to Goshen. Eddie mentioned eating the hamburgers and stuff that the Rose boys cook. Come and enjoy.
And you can afford to eat there.
That's right. It's well worth.
I do need to mention Fayetteville and Luverne. At Luverne is going to be a great one, and it's just wonderful. We're going to get to see some great football in the next few weeks, don't you think?
Oh yes, sir. There's some great ball teams.
You guys do a great job, and I know you appreciate them, Coach.
Oh, I do. I tell you what. Royce mentioned earlier about the community of Goshen. I tell you, it's a very special place. I've been very blessed that, like the two at my right here, have been pretty much there the whole life, and I've been there my whole life, and I really wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I've been very blessed. To me, it's like heaven on earth.
If the 2 Stroud brothers there, if they'll meet me down there, I'll meet them down at Mimi's in the morning for breakfast on me.
All right. Well, I'm sure they'll be there.
I got my show to 8:30. I'll be down there about 8:45 till 9 o'clock. Y'all meet me there for breakfast. I want my eggs over light.
Well, that's a great place to eat. I tell you, if you hadn't been there for breakfast or lunch.
Cracked eggs.
Yes, sir.
We got a couple of minutes, I think. You know, Thorsby is the number 4 seed in
Yes,
their
sir.
Region 4, but they played Reeltown, the number 1 seed, very tough.
They did.
So
They
they're
really
not
did.
a pushover. by
No,
any
they're
means,
not.
and
They're not. And they're a real good ball team. Like I said, Coach Davis does a real good job. They've been to Goshen before, and you can bet that he's telling their kids, look, we need to go back and repay the favor. We were in that ball game the first half, and then that group took over the second half, and we're not going to do that this year, you know. And so we're telling our guys that we're not going to. We want to make it a game. We want to put our foot down and play our kind of football at the beginning of the game, not in the second half. We want to play all 4 quarters.
it's going to be another cool night in Eagle Stadium, but at least we are in Eagle Stadium. That's a good thing.
Last year we traveled down to Cottage Hill, and it was
cool
cold
that
and
night.
wet and really a miserable night.
That's right.
But
All right, so we would like to invite everybody to come out to Eagle Stadium this Friday night as the Goshen Eagles play host to the Thorsby High School Rebels in the first round of the playoffs. That'll do it for tonight. See you next week. Good night, everybody, and go Eagles!
Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out.